brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. And now it's sippin' time.
Yes, it's sippin' time. Hello, and welcome to this Sips episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. As always, we are the best thing on at 2 a.m. This is a 1-hour show that is kind of entertaining for a few minutes out of the 52 that we're actually on the air. We are
19 today, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'm setting the bar low. We are banned in 7 municipalities, 4 states, and the local grocery store won't cash our checks anymore after
But
Brent.
we can go to the Gadsden Mall.
Well, we can go there. After Brent unfortunately tried to cash that third-party check from Kazakhstan. This is Made Man Bob, and joining me today, our Made Man Brent.
Oh, thanks for having me. I can see we're going to have some pronunciation problems today.
Yeah, the name's on the check from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, well, you know, when you see a name and it's 37 letters long and there's no vowels in it, yeah, that's usually, and every third letter's got dots over it.
Don't pronounce that. That's a silent vowel, and that's a silent consonant.
Well, down here in the basement, that's all we have. So, and Made Man Maury.
Good morning, Bob. I love the kilt you're wearing today. I hope your boys don't get a little chill from the air down here in the basement.
Stop looking under my kilt, you degenerate. Good old boy, Justin.
Good morning, Bob, and thanks for the Walker's shortbread cookies. They really go really well with the Aberlour.
He's starting to get excited. He thinks he's
theme.
in Catholic school. Sees me in this skirt. And good old boy, Harmeet.
Why is everyone wearing the skirt? What's going on here?
Don't be a hater.
I mean, I came to the show feeling like, included because the brown guy with all you white people, but none of you guys have pants on.
Yeah.
There might be a reason.
Nobody said pants were included. Nobody said I had to wear
It's 2 a.m. Pants are optional.
Good Lord. I mean, come on, man.
Is that a tartan or a sexual aggression?
Tartan is Gaelic for sexual aggression. Brent, Maury, and myself are with the Bourbon Mafia. The Bourbon Mafia is a nonprofit organization composed of bourbon enthusiasts and industry professionals. With representation in 8 states, our members combine a love of bourbon with a passion for charitable work and drinking. And
Thank you for saying that because I was,
and the group,
off my mark.
Yeah, well, you're not paying attention. The group uses their love of our native spirit to raise money for local and national charities through rare bottle auctions and other themed events. You can check us out on Facebook at The Bourbon Mafia. And our show is also sponsored in part by Fine Spirits in Cooper City, Florida, home of the Animatic Machines, serving great wines, whiskeys, and other spirits by the glass. You can find them where?
www.facebook.com/finespirits or just finespirits.net. Sorry, don't go to .com. That guy's holding me up. It's .net.
He didn't even remember what his own website is. Good Lord.
We were drinking, man. I came here. Nobody's wearing pants. I thought there's alcohol. I need some now.
You notice nobody's wearing pants and he's excited? Yeah. I don't see any of us excited. We're all just kind of just hanging out. He's the one that's starting to lose the ability to speak.
Hanging out is a loose word right now.
In this crowd, nothing. Trust me. You guys wish something was hanging out. I'm sorry, I should get out of this room. I'm allergic to shrimp. Objects are actually larger than they appear. Our sip segments are all about wine, distilled spirits, tea, and coffee. And today's show is a distiller's takeover show featuring whiskeys from the Aberlour distillery. Our samples today were graciously provided to us by Aberlour brand ambassador Mark Williams.
Thank you, Mark. Do you have any Scottish music for that? Wait, there it is.
Did it generally annoy you?
My brother-in-law plays the bagpipes. I have no choice.
I don't know. My family's Scottish, so
I'm married into this stuff.
I kind of like them, All right. Well, here's the
I
whiskey.
think he was torturing cats.
It's pretty much like beating a cat. Here are the whiskeys we're going to discuss today. We have Aberlour 12. We have the Aberlour 16-year-old, the Aberlour 18-year-old, and the Aberlour Abuna. So,
Yeah, but don't we have 2 Abunas or something?
yeah, we'll get there.
That was the secret you spoiled, man.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Way to go. Okay.
It's fun, Brent.
Oh, it's great.
Thanks, Brent. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Since he's ruined it, we might as well make him do the Sips episode. Come on, tell us what our
Do the
Sips ratings are.
Do it.
Oh, the Sips ratings? Oh, you want me to do it in my Scottish accent?
Oh, God, please, yes.
Whatever that was.
I can hear our ratings going up now. Please, dear God, yes.
We'll be tasting and discussing these whiskeys and rating them with these Sips ratings, plus our signature sounds. Here are these ratings now.
Scary.
1 sip. Give me a glass of water to wash out my mouth.
Did you forget to hit the button, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm just still laughing.
2 sips. Nice. But what else you got?
Well, isn't that nice?
Oh, that's a very drunken Scottish man.
3 sips. You met a sober drunken Scottish man?
Sober drunken Scottish man? No.
3 sips. Interesting. What was that again?
Interesting.
4 sips. Let's keep this secret to ourselves. Pour me another.
That's classified.
Pretend you're James Bond on this one. He's Scottish. Connery.
5 sips. Oh my. I was unaware anything could be this good.
I just got creeped out.
Hold on, I got to just take a moment.
Especially with the no pants.
Yeah.
Very creepy.
Yeah.
Oh my
That voice coming out of him with no pants is really kind of... I'm just going to slide over the other end of the table a little bit myself.
I was worried. I got a tingle up my spine and a churning in the pit of my stomach at the same time.
Oh, dear Lord.
I don't know why you've got a tingle in your spine. I'm a little worried
Fat,
about that.
drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
That's exactly
I
it.
can try though.
Thank you, Dean Wormer. All right. So let's start out with some information on the Aberlour distillery, and why don't we have Maury tell us a little bit about it?
Thank you, Bob. The original distillery at the site of Aberlour was built in 1826 by James Gordon and Peter Weir. That distillery was destroyed by fire in 1879.
Accidentally, I'm sure.
Jewish lightning. Mm-hmm. And the current distillery was built...
So he can say it, I can't. You know? He can say it, I can't.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard that?
Really? No.
Oh, yeah.
Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the best anti-Semitism comes from the Jews. Yeah.
There's
Come on.
And the current distillery was built in its place by James Fleming. James was the son of a local farmer who produced grain for several distilleries in the area, and he began producing spirit in 1880. He gained experience in the business by working at Dalyuan for the prior 10 years.
Dalyuan.
Yeah, that too. And he continued until he sold the
I actually
distillery.
wrote down phonetic
Yeah, but I don't like your
pronunciation.
phonetic explanation. I don't think that's right.
He continued until he sold the distillery in
I got it from
1892
Scotland.
to Robert Thorne and Sons. James Fleming passed away in 1895, and his final resting place being in the local cemetery across the street from the distillery. That's important to know.
He didn't make it far.
No, he didn't go far in his
Part
life.
of the terroir, I think.
Robert
taste it in
Thorne
the
and
barley.
Sons operated the distillery until it burned down again in 1898. Gee,
And what was
imagine
that? Yeah.
They,
Good
subs-
insurance policy.
they subsequently rebuilt and continued to operate the distillery until 1921 when they sold it to W.H. Holt and Sons, a brewer from Manchester. The distillery was again sold in 1945, this time to S. Campbell and Sons Limited. Campbell Distilleries also owned Glen Allachie and,
Not to be confused with Smart Alecky.
and Edradour Distilleries.
So you read that one right.
There you go.
Campbell Distilleries was acquired by Seagram's in 1975. Then in 2001, Seagram's was acquired by Pernod Ricard and Diageo, with Pernod taking control of Aberlour, among other distilleries from the old Seagram's portfolio.
Diageo owns a whole bunch of good stuff.
I'm just impressed he got the last two and pronounced those correctly.
Well, you had Glen Allachie, Smart Alecky.
Do you notice the thing burned down and 20 years later it burned down again?
Yep.
'Cause I think there's like a 20-year span before they could get a new insurance policy.
That's right.
The little town where my
amazing
parents
they
came
kept
from, there was a
rebuilding.
guy in that town, and he had a nickname. Everyone in the town called him Match. Because everything the man ever owned, every business he ever owned, everything he owned somehow mysteriously caught on fire. And at one point in some sort of a town gathering, his wife stood up and cursed at him and said, "If you burn this house, our house down, I'll kill you." So, it's like, when your name's Match, how do you get the local agent to write you a policy?
That's a good question.
With a fire exclusion, sure.
Holy cow. All right, well, let's get to our first expression.
Before we've been casting aspersions. Distilleries are dangerous places. Don't start one in your garage like Bobby Joe.
Especially in the old days, because in the old days they were fired by peat or coal. There was open flames, steam pipes everywhere, and giant casks full of high proof alcohol.
That being said, still don't open a distillery in your garage like Bobby Joe.
Yeah, and
even if you use electric.
I don't really like my neighbors, so I'm not really concerned about it. Besides, you didn't go blind.
Besides, it's infinitely less flammable than a meth lab.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
because that's how I lost my last house. So we shouldn't joke about that because that
we're in Florida. We're in Florida.
Yeah, you should remember Brent lost his house in a horrible meth lab explosion. So.
Well, he still has his teeth.
Hey, Cuban coffee is the reason why there's no meth problem in Miami.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah, we don't need it. It's perfectly legal and available anywhere.
It's North Florida. It's North Florida that's the problem.
Yeah, well,
we're looking at you, North Florida, Floribama.
We still have all our teeth.
Yeah.
So,
So we've got whiskeys to talk about. We had to wait till after the break to start.
I don't know if you keep talking for another 30 seconds, you might make it to the break.
Never make it that far.
Who's going to do the first one?
I'm going to do the first one.
You going to do the first one?
Yes.
When we come back?
Yeah, when we come back.
No,
the
do it now.
Aberlour 12-year double cask.
Do it now. I don't think you have much to say.
ABV. I don't have a lot to say.
Floriba's favorite
Can you do it in
scotch.
5 seconds?
I can do it in less than 5 seconds. I'm a bourbon guy.
No.
Thought he was a meth guy.
That was in a previous life.
Rolling clouds and crashing surf, iridescent dunes reflecting by the light of a rising, glowing moon. Seashore mesmerizing, night breeze hypnotizing. We've come across these back roads none too soon. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love.
Hey, and we're back, and we managed to make it through the commercial without having to stall any further. So now that we're done, we can go to Brent and have him tell us all about his favorite beverage, scotch.
Yes, this is an Aberlour 12-year double cask, 40% ABV. This expression is made from whiskey that has been fully aged in either an oak bourbon cask or a sherry cask for a full 12 years. And these two whiskeys are then married and bottled to make this expression. So the first thing you notice about this one is it is really light. The color on this one is light. The nose, you get a little bit of fruit
light?
on the nose, a little bit of raisin. What's that?
This isn't light.
What do you mean it's light? It's,
No.
well, maybe compared to the other ones, it's light.
Yeah.
To the ones
Brent's been into the vodka again.
Yeah, to the one that you had an hour ago, yeah. But
Take off your sunglasses, Brent.
Oh, now I got it.
Let him finish. Let him go.
Yeah.
Go. Say what you got to say.
I
We're
know
going to
that.
make fun of you regardless. But say
I
it's
know.
true.
I understand that.
Well, that's our
you know?
job. I mean,
But the nose, but once I taste it, it's very, very one-dimensional. I don't get the sherry notes on it, which I'm supposed to be getting from the cask, from the two married casks. And I don't really get that. And I get a little bit of raisin, a little bit of toffee, I do get a little bit of milk chocolate. But then when the finish, it's just a really short finish. It's just not, just a little, and at the end, a little bit of bitterness to it. So
hey.
That's my job.
That's trademarked by
That's
Harmeet.
my job, right?
Yeah,
here.
well,
you start using the word bitter, you have to pay him
Bitter.
royalties.
Start paying bitter royalties. But
Not getting a check and a smile, Harm.
Oh, God.
so
Let me go to the change or I'll get him a quarter. You can use it all you want.
it's I guess this is their entry level, their entry level product, and but still for me it was a little bit. I'm not that enthused about it, and I'm just going to give this 2 sips.
Well, isn't that nice?
I expected no less from you, bro.
Oh, I wait. Okay, you go next. What are you giving this?
Oh,
one?
okay, good.
Go ahead.
Well, first off, the color is not light. It is a beautiful rose gold. And this is not apple rose gold, which is just pink. This is, if you've ever had real rose gold, it's got a nice reddish gold color.
It was
Very pretty.
Rose gold was very popular in the 70s.
There you go. Rose gold. And the nose is just apple, nice apple, a little bit of cinnamon. I get some of that barrel notes, a tiny bit of raisin. There's a little bit of sherry fruit, but it's subdued. On the
It's
palate,
not a sherry bomb, no.
no, it's not a sherry bomb by any means. Nice toffee and raisin, a little bit of maple syrup. I don't get all that milk chocolate you're talking about. I mean, if it had maybe on the longer, a little, the finish is medium. And maybe a little bit on the finish, there's some chocolate, but it's more like just oak to me. I mean, I think it's a great starter whiskey. There's nothing wrong with this. If you're just introducing someone to Scotch and they're not really used to that flavor profile, this is something they can taste. Not super expensive, easy, get you into like, hey, this is Scotch. This is not a big sherry bomb. This is stuff to start with and go from there. This is a good 3-sip for me. Easy.
All right.
I agree with you, Harmeet.
Interesting.
I think that this is Made Man Maury. I think that it is definitely a novice or entry level Scotch. It's an easy Scotch to appeal to the masses. I think part of Brent's problem today is that he's coming off of drinking some heavy duty cask strength offerings.
Different show. Shh, you're breaking the fourth wall. Don't let them know we do more than one show at a time.
I didn't say he was at a show. I'm just saying he's been drinking, and he's been drinking cask strength.
That could be every day.
Right.
It could be
And
Tuesday.
so when you're cask strength,
But Glenn would pay you
fanatics,
You
Tuesday
can't
for a
say you've
drink
been
today.
drinking all day if you don't start at 2 a.m.
That's true.
when you're a cask strength junkie like we are, and you drink something like this,
It's 80
that comes
proof.
in at 80 proof, it's going to taste light. But I got to tell you, it's very approachable.
It's flavorful.
It's
I
very
think it's
well
good
made.
flavor.
It's flavorful. It's got just a hint of sherry, not too much, not too little. I think it's balanced. I think it's well made. I've got nothing bad to say about it. I think it's really nice. I teeter between 3 and 4 sips. There's some really great, amazing 4-sip whiskeys out there, but this gets a solid 3, teetering on 4. No question.
I don't have a button for teetering.
Teetering.
Interesting.
Like a teeter tot.
Justin, did you
Like a
teeter?
teeter tot.
Are you a teeterer?
Nah, this was
You're a totter?
solid low 3 for me.
Solid low 3.
That wasn't teetering at all.
No teetering.
There was no teetering
It
at
wasn't
all.
close to the 2, and it was nowhere near the 4. Had a fruity nose. You could smell the sherry cask on it. It's subtle. The finish is short. And, if you're watching football or paying attention to something else, this is perfectly good to drink.
Oh, wow. What a week. That's a weak tea of a review, man. What's up with that?
Lord.
Bob,
Heathens.
back me up on this.
This is a lovely whiskey.
Lovely.
It is a lighter expression because it's only the 12 year, and we've got some.
And we're only drinking 80 proof as
And we're
opposed to
only
the
drinking
120
80 or-
proof,
yeah.
which
It's
we may or
almost
may
as
not have
lovely
been
as
drinking
your-
a few minutes ago.
Possibly. You can always tell when we do more than one show in a day because the second one's much more entertaining.
That's why we're going for 19 minutes today.
This is a solid whiskey. I mean, it's not meant to be their top dog. It's a 12 year, well made,
Right. There's
well
nothing
rounded.
bad.
There's let me tell you, a lot of sherry
Well-balanced.
bombs out there often have a really bad flaw with sulfur.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no sulfur here.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
Yeah, I mean they're covering something up. This is extremely well made. The apple on this, there's apples and you get the wood and a little bit of cereal note. I mean, it's got a very pleasant nose. I pick up the sherry. Again, it's not a sherry bomb, but I can definitely taste the sherry notes on it. I get some raisins. I get a little bit of toffee. I get a little bit of gingery sort of spiciness and a little bit of maple syrup on the end.
Now that you say ginger, I think I get it.
Yeah, it's that slightly spicy kind of gingery. Yeah, I mean, it's an extremely well-made whiskey, and it's not meant to be their top dog. I think it's extremely well-made, and I have no problem drinking this all day long and have on more occasions than I can count. So I give it a solid 3.
As long as you follow Brent's rule of starting at 2 a.m., you can go out there all day long.
Bob, do you have any pricing information on retail on any of these whiskeys today?
Since they were kind enough to give them to us, the price is 0.
The prices are, I can tell you the 12-year-old on my shelf is like $50.
And the 16?
I don't know off the top of my hand. It's probably 70, 75 somewhere.
So on that note,
dude, tell me about the 16. Maury, what's going on?
No,
well,
that's
Justin.
That's
Oh,
me.
it's Justin? Oh, okay.
So Aberlour 16 year. It's another 40% alcohol by volume or 80 proof. And the expression is basically the same as the 12 year. They just aged it 4 more years. If you're going to try and figure out whether it spent more time in an old bourbon cask or a sherry cask, I would say it spent more time in a sherry cask on the 16. And
They don't give us percentages here, huh?
little stronger nose than on the 12. I got more raisin out of it than the 12. And it's a slightly longer finish, but not much longer than the 12. It's certainly pleasant. You could also drink this throughout the day and have a pretty good day. So I give it 3 sips.
We're talking about a session whiskey.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Interesting.
They got those 5.5% session IPAs. We've got the 80 proof, 40%
That's
session
exactly.
session scotches.
whiskey.
So, Maury, you were making a point about the 16
I was
versus the
making
12.
a point, and sometimes I like to put price in
He has a
perspective.
point? Wow, hold on.
Besides the one on
hold
his
on.
head.
Take
Let me put my glasses on. I want to see this.
All right. So honestly,
time for
I
anything.
thought
I think
these
the sherry stands out more.
I thought these whiskeys were extremely similar. I think there was a subtle increased sherry note on this one versus the 12. But honestly, the 12 is so well made, and for the price, I just don't know that I'd spend the extra money for 4 more years.
Yeah, 20, 25 bucks.
For it's 50% more money.
Well,
For a
that's how
whiskey
many
that's
times have we run into
marginally
that,
better.
especially in Scotch, because you'll see a line of a common Scotch, and here's 10, here's 11, here's 14, here's and they go up and they significantly increase. We've done quite
You
a few.
pay for Angel Share, you
Yeah.
pay for marketing.
No,
you
and
pay for-
I'm a fan of older whiskey. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
But a lot of times, a year or 2 or 3 doesn't make a difference.
if I didn't know walking in off the street, I would probably pick the 16 over the 12. However, having tasted them, I can say that the 16 is marginally better than the 12. Definitely not 50% better for 50% more dollars. So the 16 is very well made. It's a wonderful whiskey. I'll say all the same things I could say about the 12, except it's got a little more sherry. And, again, a solid 3-sip whiskey. But I think if you're on a limited budget, the 12 will get you the same for about a third less.
I have never heard Maury talk about being on a limited budget. This is the man who brings $400 and $500 whiskeys to the table. No, that's not expensive. But now, for me,
He's had a
I'm
bad
sorry.
month.
I know Bob, you probably want to go next, but whatever. I'm going to jump in front of you. This 16-year-old, I really get more. That's sherry. The color is pretty much the same, a little more coppery, I guess. But the sherry really stands out to me a little more. And there's a kind of a creaminess to this one that I didn't have in the 12. And for $20 more, I'd rather drink this any day over the 12-year-old. Really, I would. I don't know that I would give it 4 sips. I think it's still 3 sips, but this is a solid, this is the 3 sips I want to spend. This is the one I want to spend the money on right here.
Yeah.
Bobby Joe?
Well,
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Just like
Yeah.
your opinion, man.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Okay.
And that's the celebrity who kept his hands to himself. You know that?
Poor Pee Wee. Everybody's down on him.
He went to jail, but he kept his hands to himself.
Exactly. Well, all I can say is it's a lovely whiskey. It's extremely well made. It's extremely balanced. And I got to echo what Maury says. if I'm looking strictly at it dollar wise, do I think it's, that much more money better? Probably not. But is it better, period? Absolutely. I mean, it is definitely a much better put together whiskey.
I think I'm more price sensitive than you guys based on our economies, but I would rather spend the money on this.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't spend the money on it. I'm saying, if you only have X dollars to spend, what do you want to do? Go for two of the wood. Go 2 12s and
go for 2 12s.
Spend a few extra dollars, get 2 12s. But
it's a 24-year-old, right?
If this is what they have, exactly. Yeah.
Again, Brent proving he can do math because he's not a lawyer.
Right.
Let me say this.
212s. That could be a senator from Alabama.
Let me say this. I think with time in the glass, they differentiate a little bit more. But on the first sip, right after pouring them, they were remarkably
but
similar.
when they air out, you can smell the difference is huge.
Yeah.
They've been open for about a half hour, right?
That's my point. It changes over time.
More spice on the 12-year-old for me, more sherry on the 16-year-old for me.
Yeah, the sherry's
definitely more sherry.
You definitely get more sherry on the 16, and that's the only difference that I have between them, and it's still kind of one-dimensional for me.
I'll give you that. It's not super complex.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Exactly.
I mean, on the nose, this is much more creamy.
Yeah.
And you definitely pick up more of the sherry, more raisiny notes to it. It's got a nice little sort of nutty aroma on the back end to it. The sherry rounds it out well. Mm-hmm. It's not overly done. It's not a sherry bomb. Yeah, I think it's an extremely well done whiskey. I give it 4.
Didn't you just give it 3 a second ago?
No.
I could have sworn you gave it 3.
No, he gave it 4.
Did he? No. Whatever. I'm confused because I've been drinking, so the next whiskey is going to be mine. I'm just taking it. Is that all right? Just take the 18-year-old?
Okay. Take the
like you haven't had taken an 18-year-old
before. Legal. Completely legal. Taking an 18-year-old. 43% alcohol.
Let's face it,
children.
This is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
Yeah.
43% alcohol compared to the other 40 proofs. 80 proof. This is, to me, a much better whiskey. There's a beautiful toffee note, a little butteriness, a little orange peel, tobacco, like an aged cigar, little cocoa. I mean, I love the nose. I could smell it, but on the palate, it's just creamy, leathery, and just that tobacco really comes out a lot more. And the sweetness is not as much there as like the 16-year-old. Just you could taste that oak there. It's just like a little more leathery, a little creamy, and I just like the way it feels. I don't know what to tell you. I'm being completely inarticulate because I've been drinking with a bunch of unpantsed men, or what are they? You guys?
That's
kilted?
why you
we prefer pantsless.
Right. That's why you wanted to jump in front of Bob. I mean,
whatever.
Jump in front. Hey,
I tried to.
Hey.
Yeah.
This is a PG to R-rated show.
He's the one who said, "I want to jump in front of you, Bob."
I know.
I like the way this whiskey feels on the palate. It's got a great grip. A little bit of water actually opened up a little bit more. This is a whiskey I'd have with a cigar, and because of that, and I have a cigar like 4 times a year, and around the holidays is when I'll have one. This to me is a 4-sipper. I'm doing a cigar on this whiskey.
That's classified.
I don't want to know what he's doing with the cigar, but
it's the holidays, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Okay.
Don't come around the house.
Okay,
so take one to the White House.
You know what? I have to agree with you about this butterscotch and the butterness and the creaminess of this. This one really came through with me. The other two were so similar.
How many sips did you give the 16?
I don't want to say, just 2.
Okay.
But
how many are you going to give this one?
But
come on,
this one here does not taste anything like those first 2.
Damn it! Just tell me how many sips.
No, I'm not going to say that yet. No, because this one here actually you get some of the complexity. You get a lot more flavor out of it.
Is he admitting that he likes scotch?
He's admitting he likes some scotch.
No, I'm saying that the first two were so similar. It was, besides a little bit of sherry note, it was hard to tell the difference between the two of them, really. They were very much, but the 2 extra years now from the 16 to the 18, this made a huge difference.
Bigger
This
than
was
the 4-year jump from the 12 to the 14 for sure.
This was, yeah. But this made a huge difference. So even this, the 2 years from the, on that, from the, so, I enjoyed it a lot. It was very enjoyable.
At least 2.5 sips.
At least 2.5. I'm going to stretch it out to 3.
Thank you.
Wow.
You were waiting for that.
Proud
you were
of
waiting to hear
I'm
a
proud of
3-sip.
you. Brent, I'm proud of you.
3-sip for scotch.
You're going to hear something more than
I'm stunned. The sounds are fuzzy and staticky.
That's your ears.
That's your ears. My ears are fuzzy.
Yeah, you drank too much.
I must have drank too much.
You started at 2:15 instead of 2.
Justin, are you going next? What do you think?
No. Yeah, okay.
I think it's a solid 3-sipper.
Maury wants to jump in front of Justin.
I don't jump in front of anybody.
It's very, it wouldn't make much difference. Only 40 degrees in the basement. And I would drink this not in Coke, but I would use a Coke as a palate cleanser between sips because it's so creamy. You want the citric acid to cut it, and then just try it over and over again. It's going to be like having
he would drink it here.
this
He would drink it
expression.
there.
No,
He would
dude,
drink it anyway.
this needs a cigar. This needs a
that like
nice
50
Almost
fermented
as like
cigar.
it's almost like when if you put like a little butterscotch candy in your mouth and then pulled it out. And
It is.
It
a
is.
lot
It
like
is.
that.
And it's a huge difference. Those first two, I'm sorry, but they were very much very, very similar to each other. This one distinguished itself above them.
Oh, yeah.
Very
100%.
much so.
One of the reasons it distinguished itself is not just the 2 years, but the higher proof point.
Yeah.
I think that added boost in proof really brings flavor and complexity to the table in a big way.
I agree. I mean, this is so many different flavors coming out of this.
That 16 should be 43% alcohol.
Yeah,
They should make it that way.
they should make it that way.
Are you listening, Aberlour?
It'd be too close to the 18.
The closer whiskey is from coming straight from the barrel, the happier most of us are generally.
Yes, because we're all lushes. It's like, bring it to me a cast strength.
Flavor.
Did you give it a rating?
Yeah, he did.
3 sips.
Okay.
You know what increases the flavor? Being pantsless.
Not just the destination, but baby, the whole elation of riding down this lover's avenue. As slow as the willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right, keep your eyes on the road, my darling, wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows, my hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
All right, and we are back. And
Who left off? Was that you,
my
Bob,
turn.
or Maury? Maury jumped in front of Bob.
again,
I don't jump in front. I'm a pitcher, not a catcher.
It's more like a wiggle in front.
Okay.
straight into the toilet he goes. Awesome.
From the urologist, we know where his hands have been.
Okay.
That's why I never shake his hands.
I agree with just about everything that's been said. It's got an amazing mouthfeel. It's creamy. It's delicious.
Mouthfeel, huh?
It's well made.
Okay.
It's got a lot more sherry. And again, I think the amped up proof does it justice. Honestly, I think if they you're right. If they did the 16 at this proof, people might not buy the 18. I'd be interested to try those side by side. This is a wonderful whiskey. Solid 4 sips.
There you go.
All right.
Bob, what are you thinking? Oh, did you hit the sound? There you go.
Crucified.
This is lovely. I mean, there's absolutely nothing I can really say bad about this whiskey. It's very, very rich. The butterscotch on this thing is huge. I get a little bit of hint of citrus on it, and I get some
Am I the only one who wants a cigar?
ripe fruit.
I'll
I
have
get
a cigar.
cocoa. I think it was, I think I got it off of their website. You know, they had some tasting notes. They had cola cubes. What the hell is a cola cube?
Ice Coca-Cola?
Yeah, frozen Coke? Hell, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, no. I don't think that's what that means. But
yeah, it's...
They're
Cola bean
Brits.
extract.
There's definitely a lot.
We were talking about Demerara sugar one show.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like when you talk about sultanas, people ask, what the frick is a sultana? It's the lighter green raisins.
Female version of a sultan, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Saltine.
Yeah, we get caught up in these Britishisms.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's
a
just,
raisin is completely different from a sultana, just based
this
on
thing
color.
is it's a huge, it's an orange citrusy, just a big citrus bomb on the nose, on the palate. Hold on.
Yeah.
Butterscotch.
Smack it.
I know.
It's so creamy. It just coats your whole mouth. It's like old leather and tobacco and raisins and vanilla. And that spice just runs down around the back sides of your mouth and down your throat.
People can't see you miming the things. This is radio.
Yeah, this is lovely. This is a solid 4 sips.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you don't like this, there's something broken inside your soul.
That's definitely true. Definitely true. So, who's doing this last one, Bobby Joe? Or not? Sorry, it would be the last one, except Brent ruined the surprise.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
The next one is the Aberlour Abuna. Everybody say it after me.
Abuna.
Bless you.
Abuna. So spell it, Maury.
No, I knew I was going to have
You know, the
pronunciation
spelling has
issues.
been misspelled and abused. It is A''BUNADH, but the D is silent.
But people misplace that D. What's it called when you do that? Oh, there's a term in
Stupid.
Dyslexia. It's like dyslexia.
People say abunda all the time.
Right.
It's not abunda. It's abuna.
It's Abuna.
The D is after the A.
Hand me that bottle.
This one's...
We got. Here's the dirty little secret that Brent
Bob,
spoiled earlier.
Yeah.
The D is after the A, Bob. Notice the script.
After one of the A's and before one of the other A's. So it depends on how you look at it.
Everything's after an A.
It's all after A's.
Yeah, I got the D in the wrong place, but you added an extra A, so shut up. Smart ass.
A.
If I
Smart
misspell
alecky.
something, if I misspell it, nothing much happens. You misspell it and somebody ends up with the wrong drug, so be quiet. You're taking something for incontinence and you end up with something else. Okay. In 1975, when they were renovating the distillery, probably after a fire,
Where was Match?
in 1975, it burned down again and was purchased by an insurance agent. In 1975, they were doing renovations and installing 2 new stills, going from 2 pot stills to 4 pot stills. And the workers found a time capsule inside one of the walls from 1898 that had a bottle of whiskey from the distillery wrapped up in a newspaper dated 1898. And they took that bottle and opened it up, and God, I bet your rear end I'd open it up. And they tried to recreate this style of whiskey from the turn of the century, and this attempt basically gave birth to the expression that we now know as Abuna. It's, a older style of whiskey. And that's why I like it. It's a scotch with meat on
I'm
it.
sorry. Be honest. It's not because it's an older style. It's because it's cask strength.
That too.
No, that too. There's no that too. It's cask strength.
No.
And non-chill filtered.
Because
if in the old days they made a whiskey that was weaker, you would still prefer the cask strength.
No, I would still prefer the one that's got more meat to it.
One with more flavor.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Sometimes
equal
it doesn't
cask
matter
strength?
about the cask. It matters about the flavor.
I mean, this is cask strength. It's also non-chill filtered because, again, they didn't chill filter stuff, 118 years ago or whatever. It's made from a blend of whiskeys. It's a non-age statement, but it's first fill Oloroso sherry butts, so the sherry is much more pronounced, and it ranges in ages from what they're blending with anywhere from 5 to 25 years old. What we've got here now, they release, I think it's either 4 or 5 batches a year. This is batch number 57. They've had this one out for a while. So they're up to 57. Okay, then.
Windows agrees.
Yes.
I find it interesting that you're wearing no underwear, and no pants, and you're talking about sherry butts.
You keep getting in front of me. So what do you want from me?
He has to push Harm out of the way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, God.
I mean, the color on this.
At least I'm not behind you.
Yeah. Well, the color on this is absolutely lovely. I mean, it's got a dark copper hue to it.
It's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful color.
It's a great color.
Hints of orange. The sherry note is there. I mean, it's not overpowering, but it is absolutely there. You can really get the top notes off of it. A little bit of praline or praline, depending on what part of the South you come from.
Pecan.
And on the palate, hold on.
Pecan. Praline boy.
Just a bigger, a more rounded, a lot more meat to it. It's
a pretty
orange,
whiskey. I really
cherries,
like this.
Dried fruit.
I say pretty, but I should say handsome. This is a manly whiskey, right? It's a manly whiskey.
Yeah, it doesn't wear pants. Dark chocolate. The sherry and the oak are extremely well balanced. It's extremely full bodied, and it's just like the 18. It's got that creaminess to it, so it's very, very mouth
And
coating.
the finish just keeps going.
Yeah.
It's got a long
How many
finish.
sips, Bob? Wordy boy.
I love this one. I give it a 5.
There you go. That's what I was waiting for. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like this, then you just don't like Scotch.
It's a manly whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Brent.
Oh, I like it though.
Brent,
But
wow.
I do like it.
Go tell us all about
See
it.
him, it's cask strength. That's what he's.
That's
cask strength.
Me, I'm looking for the flavor. He's cask strength.
Yeah, well, are you saying that the 12-year-old or the 14 had more flavor? It's not. They
No,
don't.
no.
This is right, exactly. This one has an abundance of flavor. This one has a super mouthfeel.
Abundance, like a bunna?
abundance.
Maybe that's where
An
the name
abundance of
came
flavor.
I
from.
told you, it's an abuna of flavor.
Abuna of flavor.
Abuna of flavor. I told you it was a
Learn your
pronunciation
Gaelic.
issue for me today.
I shouldn't say
So-
that with you guys not wearing pants.
Exactly. Bless you.
This is a manly whiskey for men who wear kilts.
But this one drinks more like a bourbon than any of the other ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I don't know
And
any
that's
bourbon
exactly
that
why.
tastes this
No, I'll
sherry.
give him that.
No.
I'll give him
I mean,
that.
it drinks more like a
no,
bourbon.
no.
It's not a bourbon, but it's
definitely
a
Scotch, but
it's
it
a
drinks
Scotch.
like a
but you can
bourbon.
tell. But you can tell that it came from a bourbon barrel. You know, you can tell that there's sherry notes to
It
it.
didn't spend any time in a bourbon barrel.
Yeah,
it
it
spent
didn't come
time
from
in
a
a
bourbon barrel.
sherry butt.
You knucklehead.
It's the cask strength and
you've
the
been
oak
drinking,
that's pulling him
yeah.
off.
The other ones threw me off, you know. But I mean, this one is very pleasant, very enjoyable. I'm just going to give it. It's a solid 4 sips for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Try not to be shocked.
Maury,
about
do
that.
you have anything to rebut?
Well,
Re-sherry butt?
number one, it's not been in a bourbon cask. Number two, it doesn't taste like any bourbon I've ever tried. This is a classic sherried Scotch single malt.
Brent didn't rinse his glasses out after the last show.
No, this reminds me of that Four Roses we had a little bit. It's got a little nuttiness to it. I would give him a little bit of. Let go. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go, Maury.
Don't talk about nuttiness. No one's wearing pants.
This is a beautiful whiskey. It's extremely well made. It's always been a favorite of mine. Again, like we talked about on some previous shows, each batch is going to be slightly different, but they're all, in my opinion, going to be stellar. This is a 5, no question. We're going to talk about one more expression shortly of the very same whiskey. That's a 5+. We're talking about versions of 5. It's wonderful.
Justin?
This is a fantastic Scotch. First, I get hit by a wave of spice and then a wave of fruit, and the finish is long and complex. This is the best campfire Scotch.
Drink it in. It always goes down smooth.
And your rating?
4 sips.
It's like Sex Panther. Yeah. It's got to be good. It's made real bits of Panther.
So I'm going to be the iconoclast here. You guys are always about over the top because of your huge flavors and your cask strength. To me, when I first tasted this whiskey, there was a rubberiness of like a petrol note coming out here, which I mark as kind of a fault with a bad barrel. And I normally wouldn't have gone as high as 4 or 5, but I was actually going to give it a lower score. I was surprised because I really wanted to like this whiskey, but
It went away.
Half hour in, it went away.
Sherry butt?
It went away. Sherry butt, it went away.
So the scent of butt came back, is what you're saying.
The smell of Sherry's butt is fantastic. But it is...
Does Sherry know that you're smelling it?
Well...
That's called harassment. You're fired.
No, it's consensual. This is completely consensual whiskey.
Just because you paid for it doesn't mean it's consensual.
I think that's the definition of consensual. Well,
that's the definition of married.
That's the definition of going to jail.
That's the definition of married. Yeah.
And that's the title of the show.
There you go. But no, that rubbery note,
wonder where he
that
comes up with the
note,
titles, right? Those moments there.
Let's not talk about missing petrol and rubber that's gone away.
It blew away. Yes, thank you. Those off-putting notes blew away, and everything you guys said is correct. This is a gorgeous whiskey. I got a little more nutty notes than the sherry and fruit as well. So easily at 4 sips, easily.
All right.
Nice. But then we have our surprise. Bobby Joe pulled something out of the cabinet. Would you like to tell us about that one, Bobby Joe?
Well, hand me the bottle down because I don't remember which one it is.
37. 37.
Yeah, this is an Abuna batch 37. So this one's probably, I want to say probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So it's been sitting here. The bottle was about half full. So it's
oxidized a little bit.
It's been been sitting on some air for a little while.
But
so
it's been in the dark, damp basement.
Really helped it a lot.
But it also, it's I brought it out because I figured what the heck, this will give us a comparison from batch to batch to batch. Because of course everyone always says, no matter what it is, batch number 1 of whatever is always the most collectible, the one you always want and everything.
Most collectible doesn't always mean the best.
I mean, I've had several of these that were lower
wait.
batch
I'm sorry,
numbers.
Bob. Would you mind bragging to us about what the youngest batch you had was?
I had a sample of 2.
Oh, yeah. See, I knew the story from earlier.
Yeah.
Bob had to let you know. He had a batch 2. Did anyone else
I didn't
have a batch
bottle.
2? No,
I didn't have
we've
a
not
bottle.
had a batch 2. Thank you, Bob. We bowed down to it.
I've had a batch 37 and a batch 57.
That's right today. There you go.
And today's whiskey is
I'm a
plus
little
one
uncomfortable
more.
with him
Make a
talking
trio.
about batches when he's got no pants on. I just
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
no, Tony, it's not the worst thing we've caught him doing ever. Yeah. So I mean, I've had bottles of some earlier ones. I think the earliest one I got was like in the 20s, maybe the early 20s.
So you actually own the bottle?
Yeah, they actually had a bottle of. This one's 37, so I figured, well, it's 20 different. So I figure, probably 4 or 5 years.
They do. I think 4 batches a year. They maybe do more now.
Yeah, I think they've been increasing because it's once they came out, it just continues to grow because people are really digging it.
They can't get enough of the stuff out there.
This one, the sherry nose on it is not as big as on the 57.
Not at all.
And I think I attribute, because as I remember this, it was a lot bigger. I'm attributing that to being open for a while. I think that's blown off a little bit, but that being said, I think the air has really helped balance the palate even more so. Because this one is just really good. I think we need to take this bottle, this 57, and just stick it in the closet for the next 4 or 5 years and come back to it. Because if this is what the extra air,
I'm sorry,
will give
Bob.
to it-
We left way too much in this bottle of 57. We'll have to drink some more of that first.
Yeah.
Before you put that away.
That's not the 57.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm looking for it. There it is. Yeah,
the one right in front of you.
that's down to the neck. We need to get this down halfway.
Yeah, this one's just This one's
wanna rate it?
really good. I give it a solid 5.
All right.
Well,
Oh my goodness! Yes! Yes! Yes!
I agree. I think it's everything the other one had, only better. It's just had a chance to mellow. I don't know if it's the air. I don't know if it's the particular batch, but it definitely comes off more balanced, less hot, more lush, creamy, mouth coating. It's a 5+ for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's knocked down the sherry, but it's brought in so many other things. So
That's right.
Oh my goodness!
And the proof here is essentially the same too.
Yeah, they're very
I'm also going to give this one a 5 sips. This is a big step above. Brent?
Anybody else?
Oh, I'm sticking with 4 sips. It's definitely delicious. I do enjoy this one, and I could drink this one. Somebody pours me this, and I'm going to drink it.
Did
and
you
I'm gonna
like this
enjoy it all
better
night.
than the 57?
I like this one better than the 57.
Okay, I rest my case.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 sips, great.
All right.
All right. Justin ends that with the 4 sips.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. You can catch all of our episodes online, as well as on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes, Google Play, and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search for Sip Suds Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store. Be sure to tap subscribe, and the show will always be on your phone. We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every day at SipSudsSmoke, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll be able to interact with the thousands of other fans on these social media platforms as well. Do us a favor, and please take the time to rate this episode. It's a big help to us, and it lets us see your feedback as well. I want to thank our co-host for joining us today. Thank you, Brent.
It's always a pleasure. I hope people can put their pants back on now.
Not happening. Thank you, Maury.
Thank you, Bob. As always, really a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, thank you, Justin.
Thank you so much, Bob. What a great show.
Beats working. And thank you, Mr. Happy.
Well, thank you all for having me here today. Next time, remind me we're all wearing kilts, and that'll be a different show. But I'll be leaving now. You guys hang out. Please have some more whiskey. Well, give me a 5-second head start.
For Sip, Suds, and Smokes, this is Mad Man Bob. We thank you for joining us. Remember, life is too short to drink bad whiskey.
All right, hey. All right, good job, guys. Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day.
This has been a one-tan hand production of Sip, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.